I'm sorry, what? Huh? Hello there, YouTube. It's been a hot minute, and I should definitely do some explaining. Before you ask about this little animated version of myself, I simply thought it would add some spice to my rants instead of just sitting there, watching me blab about something. It probably doesn't help that my channel is not only all over the place, or that I hardly post, but all will be explained in a moment. For starters, my brain is broken. With May being Mental Health Awareness Month, and with pushes from my therapists, I thought I should finally talk about who I call the people upstairs. I know you're probably still wondering about this weird shadow princess thing, but this has something to do with that, I promise, just bear with me. So, a while back, I posted this video, which probably raised a lot of eyebrows. It didn't help that it was sort of out of the blue either, so... I was describing a really terrible point in my life where I basically snapped and started having schizophrenic episodes. This probably leaves you wondering what happened during that point, but unfortunately I'm not certain whether or not I want to give you all the details, since it is what one of my therapists described as a big trauma. Really, I do mean to update more often, but the people upstairs complicate things and make it hard to remember on top of being forgetful from seizures. Like that isn't challenging enough. Really, I really need more added onto this heap of... Anyway, the point is that I snapped from what I will call the terrible awful, since that is how I felt during this. At the time, I was going through lots of things aside from the terrible awful, like being bullied and living in a haunted house. So you can imagine that my 7-year-old brain was on overload. Yes, I was 7. Not exactly the best point of my life to snap, but what time is it convenient, really? Never. The answer is never. I will elaborate in another video like this one, since there were too many things that happened at the time. According to my parents, I was a very outspoken kid. I loved singing and putting on plays and concerts. You can imagine how odd it was for me to suddenly stop, and that was really because my brain broke. This is where the first occupant, Trixie, moved in. This wild card of a character is the start of my journey with OSDD. It's kind of like how your overloaded brain fails on you, and as a result defaults to factory reset, but in the process, another character profile gets added, if that makes sense. So my brain operates like Inside Out. There are a bunch of different people with different personalities that sort of jump in either at random or because an uncomfortable situation calls for assistance. This is called a system, which is what Trixie became a part of, even though I didn't get to see her for a while. Over the years, because of different stressful situations, I had more and more occupants move in upstairs as a defense reflex to prevent me from shutting down completely. The next occupant, Lullaby, wouldn't show up until I was a teenager, which is unfortunate since I was sort of relying on a fight or flight response, loaded with panic attacks, sleepwalking episodes, and a bunch of other crazy things. Without Trixie helping me out, it was very hard to sort fact from fiction, and a lot of the time I resorted to hiding in my closet and going to this imaginary place called the Shadow Kingdom. Wait, what? So, that is where the Shadow Princess thing comes from? Yes. Shut up! Why would you resort to using something like that? What kind of sick joke is this? I liked stop-motion animations as a kid and watched Golden Book holiday movies, Aardman films, and Tim Burton movies, which featured a lot of that at the time. My dad liked creepy stuff and heavy metal music, and my mom was into vampires. We're also Mexican. Mexicans are morbid. Look at the folklore. I also saw a marketing opportunity to help kids in need as well as get myself out of debt. It was a win-win situation inspired by the glamour ghouls of the past and my coping, but that's besides the point. Anyway, the Shadow Kingdom, where I was princess in my imaginary world where I could run away and escape life, was my go-to since Trixie couldn't get to me. There was another occupant that I was half aware of, and will elaborate in another video, who kept her from seeing me because he toxic like that, and we don't talk about Bruno. So when Lullaby showed up in my teens, she helped and sort of operated the system quite a bit and did a fair share of consoling me to make up for lost time. This one really is a hero and helped me out. She's also a trooper. I appreciate her so much. In my late teens came Zoe the Monster, who moved in and made things interesting, followed by Ruby, who's a mama bear, and our little Layla, who was attached to her. In my college years, finally came Trixie, who broke free, and lastly, the Geek Twins, Brennan and Saoirse. I can go into more detail about these fine fellows in another video, but for now, I'll keep it simple. They're an interesting coping mechanism that allows us, I can confidently say now, to keep moving forward as a system and live the interesting life we have. I did mention earlier that things can get complicated. It can sometimes be a constant battle when one randomly takes control of the switchboard at random, which can happen. I still don't know how it works other than it being like inside out and not split. Horrible example, by the way. Not everyone with OSDD or DID has a monster or serial killer in them. That doesn't mean that some of them can't be negative either. The guy that kept Trixie from me is unfortunately one of those who isn't allowed to operate the control panel or come anywhere near me. He isn't helpful or nice, so the rest of the group does their best to keep him away from me. We don't know what would happen if he did, so we avoid that, and I trust their judgment. I'm one of those weird cases where everyone is aware all the time, just when a more happen to be navigating, which can be a little weird when it comes to random laughter or unlikely comments happen. Again, I don't fully understand it, it just happens and it's challenging. There are 8 of us total, excluding he who should not be named because this brain error, hence the name 8-Bit Lola 003. Just a fun fact, 8 bits of me because of an error. 003 is an error code, which is a dumb coding joke aside from it being my game tag. But anyway, sorry it's a little all over the place, but that's how it is. In a way, it's kind of funny because for a long time I just thought I was ADD and still had imaginary friends, which clearly wasn't the case. I mean, I was on medication for it, but almost died, but that is yet another story for another time. So, yeah. That's all the time I have for now. Feel free to check out my other videos, like and subscribe for more content like this. I will try to post more often, but no promises, since now you know why. Mata ne!